Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is part 3, today's extended show. This is Future Lovers, I Feel Loved by Madonna from her live album. Welcome back to the show, everybody. That was from Madonna's live album Confessions. It is 2:08. This is my weekend extended show. Hope you're enjoying the today's show as I kind of share some news stories that I found and a lot more music, as well as some shout outs and whatnot out here. The story just came to me over the internet, over Facebook, and I wanted to share it with you. It's a very good story, a very inspiring story about patience, and I wanted to share it with you. And so I'm going to read this as it was written by a New York City taxi driver. And if you've already read this off of Facebook, I apologize, but I just wanted to share that with you. So here we go. A New York City taxi driver wrote, I arrived at the address and honked the horn. After waiting a few minutes, I honked again. Since this was going to be my last ride of my shift, I thought about just driving away. But instead, I put the car in park and walked up to the door and knocked. Just a minute, answered a frail, elderly voice. I could hear something being dragged across the floor. After a long pause, the door opened. A small woman in her 90s stood before me. She was wearing a print dress and a pillbox hat and a veil printed on it, like somebody out of the 1940s movie. But by her side was a small nylon suitcase. The apartment looked as if no one had lived in it for years. All the furniture was covered with sheets. There were no clocks on the walls, no knickknacks or utensils on the counters, and in the corner was a cardboard box filled with photos and glassware. Would you carry my bag out to the car? She said. I took the suitcase to the cab, then returned to assist the woman. She took my arm and we walked slowly to the curb. She thanked me for my kindness, and I said it's nothing. I just try to treat my passengers the way I would want my mother to be treated. Oh, you're such a good boy, she said. When we got into the cab, she gave me an address and then asked, could you drive me through downtown? It's not the shortest way, I answered quickly, and she said, I don't mind. I'm in no hurry. I'm on my way to a hospice. I looked in the rearview mirror, and her eyes were glistening. I don't have a family left, she continued in a soft voice. The doctor says I don't have very long. I quickly reached over and shut off the meter. What route would you like me to take? I asked. For the next 2 hours, we drove through the city, and she showed me the building where she had once worked as an elevator operator. We drove through the neighborhood where she and her husband had lived when they were newlyweds. She had me pull up in front of a furniture warehouse that had once been a ballroom where she had gone dancing as a girl. Sometimes she'd ask me to slow in front of a particular building or corner and would sit staring into darkness, saying nothing. As the first hint of sun was creasing the horizon, she suddenly said, I'm tired. Let's go now. We drove in silence to the address she had given me. It was a low building like a small convalescence home with a driveway that passed under a portico. 2 orderlies came out to the cab as soon as we pulled up, and they were solicitous and intent, watching her every move. They must have been expecting her. I opened the trunk and took the small suitcase to the door. The woman was already seated in a wheelchair. How much do I owe you? She asked, reaching into her purse. Nothing, I said. You have to make a living, she answered. There are other passengers, I responded. And almost without thinking, I bent and gave her a hug. She held on to me tightly. You gave an old woman a little moment of joy, she said. Thank you. I squeezed her hand and then walked into the dim morning light. Behind me, a door shut. It was the sound of the closing of a life. I didn't pick up any more passengers that shift, and I drove aimlessly, lost in thought. For the rest of that day, I could hardly talk. What if that woman had gotten an angry driver, or one who was impatient to end his shift? What if I had refused to take the run, or had honked once, then driven away? On a quick review, I don't think that I have done anything more important in my life. We're conditioned to think that our lives revolve around great moments. But great moments often catch us unaware, beautifully wrapped in what others may consider a small one. I think that's probably one of the most well-written and more beautiful stories that I've ever read, either on the air or in my real life. It is certainly a sweet lesson on patience and how we should treat each other. That was on a wall photo on Facebook, and I will put that story on my Facebook page as a share as well, so you can read it for yourself. Very good story. Okay, so time for some more music. Let's start with some more Sinead O'Connor from the Lion and Cobra album. This is Never Get Old, and that's just a coincidence. I didn't put that up on my console by design, but this is one of my favorite songs. It is 2:14.
Orthag siarda da angel a da hiu, tu a hasan da chlichi goléir. Ambraid húlin a lewa, sin am welfi da has in ye clúche. Satlai túr an leon is a neher. Yo tu da has is an leon og is a dragon.